Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, today we've got another little menu decoration for you, and it's an underline under the menu here. Now, we've done this before with just regular CSS, and some people were saying if you've got a drop down like we have here, when you do it with regular CSS, this line's going to go across all the way to the end of the element there. And they wanted a way to shorten it. So what we're going to do today, we're going to do it using a pseudo element, the before pseudo element, and that way we can target it and say give it a percentage of the length that we want it. So let's get started. Before we start, this should work with just about any theme. It should also work with Bootstrap or regular HTML if you're using those sort of sites. So I'm going to go to my theme customizer, to the additional CSS panel. For anybody who doesn't know how to get there, go to your dashboard, down to appearance and customize. Okay, let's get started. Okay, the first thing we want to do back in the CSS here is affect our menus here and just put a gap under them. I'm going to use 10 pixels. You use what you want. I'm using Chrome browser here with the great inspector tools. Most browsers have this nowadays, but if yours doesn't, Chrome is a free download. So I'm going to right click and hit inspect. That's going to bring up our inspector tools here, and we're on a link right here, an anchor tag right here. So I want to decide how much padding I want on the bottom. At the moment it's got a default of 40 pixels. So we'll have to use important to override it. So I'm going to say padding bottom. Let's give it 10 pixels. And as you can see, it's not done anything. So I'm going to write important. And as always, don't worry too much about following me in real time with this, because I'll put any CSS code that I write below the video here. There we go, and as you can see, we've got that amount of padding on the bottom now. So let's just make it permanent by writing it into our CSS, and we'll give it a title first, which is always a good idea, which is // // anything written between the stars will not be read as code, and you can write notes and headings in there. If you write a lot of CSS, it just makes it easier to find stuff afterwards, and it's also a courtesy for anybody that edits the site after you. Put in whatever makes sense to you. Okay, so we've fixed our height there. So now we've got to make it permanent. And we're looking at the anchor tag, and we're looking at the ID of top menu. So I'm going to say top menu A, so we can target that. And now it's an ID. All IDs have to have a hashtag. And the class name is top menu right there, or I should say ID. And we're targeting the anchor tag, the A tag. So let's open and close some curly brackets. And in between, we can paste that bit of code that we wrote there. Okay, that will now become permanent when we hit the publish. Now I'm just going to refresh the page again. As you can see, because we've changed that, it's pulled the bottom of the menu up there. Let's just refresh the page quickly. Make sure we haven't got to do something else. As you can see, it's shortened up our top menu here, which is fine. We just need to readjust it so it's a similar height that we actually want. So if we look down here, let's just select it again. And there it is, it's our ET top nav. So I just need to adjust the padding top and bottom, and again we're overriding the styles. So I'm going to click on it, and let's say padding top We'll say 40 pixels. We can adjust this easily and get it how we want. So let's push it down. That's the top taken care of. Let's do padding bottom, and we'll give it 40 also. Okay, that's kind of done it. It's a little too much on the bottom. Let's say 40. You can actually highlight the number and roll up and down with your mouse wheel if you want to change it that way. 40, 30. It still looks a little bit much to me. Let's say 25 and 35. So I've got that one to 25, and I'll just double click to highlight this one now. Just get it where you want it. That looks about right to me. Kind of how we had it. Okay, so let's grab this class name, ET Top Navigation. I keep calling it a class. It's an ID, and that's really important to distinguish the two. Double click, copy, Control C if you wish. Let's get back into our additional CSS here. And it's an ID again, so we need to put a hashtag in front of it. Open and close some curly brackets. Now, we'll copy our code here, but we're going to have to force it because we're overriding some styles that are already there, which are here. And to force it, let's just tidy that up a little bit. Simply put the word, like we've done here, important in front of it. I'll just copy that. Control C to copy. Control V to paste. And we'll do the same for the one below. Publish. That should have taken care of that. Now what we need to do is target our top menu A that we've got here, but we want to target this, what they call a pseudo element. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to drop down one. I can get rid of my inspector now because we're just going to write some pseudo code here. Paste that in there. Now right after the A, with no gap, so it's A, no space, colon, and the word before. And that will target the pseudo element. We'll open and close some curly brackets. Inside is where we're going to write our code. So the first thing we want to do is give it some actual content. So I'm going to say content, colon, then two lots of inverted commas, like that, and put a little semicolon at the end. Always put a semicolon on the end of your code or it won't work. Let's put a gap just after there too. There we go. So we've got content, colon, gap, two inverted commas and a semicolon there. Great. And this is going to place something below here. So let's put, we want the position of it to be absolute, so we're going to say position, colon, absolute. So we want it to be in the same place all the time, semicolon. Now, want it to be, we're actually targeting, remember we're just targeting the link, so I want it to be right to the left and totally to the bottom, which is 10 pixels down below. So let's do that. So I'm just going to say left, colon, 0, semicolon, and then bottom 0 as well. Now we'll give it a height so it actually exists, and I will just give it a small height of 1 pix. We'll say height 1 pix. And width wise, we'll give it 100% so it goes all the way across the element itself. So semicolon, width 100%. And you'll see in a minute why we're doing the width, because we can target this one with a drop down individually and change the width of it in a moment. Now what do we want? We want a little line, so we'll give it a border on the bottom. And let's make it about 3 pix. We'll make it solid. We're going to change this in a minute. And what color shall we make it? Let's make it the same color blue as we got here. I got a little freak Chrome color picker. Let's get that hex code. Hex code always has a hashtag in front of it, and then the hex code itself. And as you can see, we've got those lines in there now, which is great. Now we're only going to want those on hover, but while we've got them up there, let's actually take care of shortening the one that we've got here. Now if I inspect this one, there's the tag itself, but its menu item, it's got a 2710. They've all got different codes, so we can target them individually. So if I copy that menu item 2710 right there, we can shut this down now. I can go back in here. This was a class this time, not an ID, so the class has a period or a dot in front of it, then the name, and we want to target the anchor tag again, and we want to target the pseudo element for it. So I'm going to say colon, no gap, and before, open and close some curly brackets. And how wide do we want it? We'll say width, let's try 80%. And that hasn't actually shortened it, because there's 100%, it's still 100%, so I'm guessing 80% there. So again, we're overriding a style, so let's do this. Important again, a little gap in there. There we go, and that's shortened that up. Could do maybe another 5%, so it's no longer under the arrow, and this is what we were trying to achieve with this today. I'm going to bring that up to 85%. How's that? Yep, that's okay with me. Great. Now, we only want to see these on hover. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back up here and take this color out. Before I do that, I'm going to copy this whole thing. Control C, drop down below here. And just after the colon of the A and before, I'm going to put the word hover. No gaps in here, no spaces, word hover, and then another colon. So now we've got a hover state for that top menu. That I'm going to leave just as it is. And up here in the color, I'm going to leave the actual border there, but I'm just going to make it transparent. So as you can see, we can't see it anymore, but it's still there, we just can't see it. Now when we hover over, that's going to work. And we've only got that one to 85%. Like I say, you can make all these things different colors, different shapes if you want to. You can target them individually. But that should fix the problem that somebody mentioned in a comment when we just do it with a bit of regular CSS, not using a pseudo element. So you've shortened it up there. So let's publish our changes here. And if I look at the site, still got it on there, but let's refresh, make sure it's going to work again, because this is the leftover from when we had it there before. There we go. And we've got a hover effect, and as you can see, that one's at 85% or whatever percentage you want to give it. So there you go. There's how to add the underline effect using a pseudo element. I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.